Welcome to another Nintendad review. I'm Thomas, and I'll be taking a look at Sin Slayer's Enhanced Edition from Goon Swarm and Black Tower Games. Monsters surge around every corner, and the world around is foreign. It's clear we're not in Kansas anymore. The only safe haven around is a lone church under the protection of a blind sage. A small group of survivors band together in this lone sanctuary and learn the only way to escape this evil-infested world is to defeat the 7 Sin Lords. The plot is pretty straightforward. Salvation will only come at the downfall of the powerful bosses and their fiendish minions. The scant narrative leaves a lot to the imagination. Despite having a handful of characters, there's little substance to endear you to any of them. It was hard to feel connected to the empty heroes or care whether they found their way home or were lost forever. Sin Slayers doesn't boast the most enticing story, making the gameplay the backbone of the experience. And I'll be honest, my first impression of the game was as dreadful as the world the heroes get lost in. The mechanics are a bit unique for a turn-based RPG. Part of my frustration during my first few runs came from little to no tutorial. Not that I needed my handheld to get started, but Sin Slayers omits a lot of information. One example, certain icons go unexplained and a lot of guesswork is needed when trying to decipher an enemy's weakness. The campaign is made up of 7 areas. Each is randomly generated. As you move around the map in grid-based fashion, you'll encounter a variety of enemies, traps, or treasure, never knowing what's around the corner as the tiles are hidden from your view. There's a sin system as well. If you choose to dig up a coffin for some sordid loot or pry the boots off a corpse, your sin meter will increase. As it goes up, the enemies become more difficult. Of course, ignoring your itch to defile a grave will reduce your sin as well. I found that more often than not, searching these oddities would yield worse results than simply compromising your moral compass. In fact, I found myself more injured by hidden traps or curses when exploring these wayside hazards. Risking double punishment at the chance of finding old cheese or an apple which only heals 2 hit points hardly seemed worth the hassle. Replaying old levels for fun, or to complete quests, bumping up the challenge may be worthwhile. Exploration is a key component in Sin Slayers. Since the levels are random, if you leave at any point or say you get killed, you start over in the church. All your progress is lost, giving the game a slight roguelike feel. All your map progress, that is. You'll keep any items, loot, experience that you found. There were some levels where I searched nearly every square before uncovering the boss, and then other times I'd find the Sin Lord almost right away. The combat system for the most part follows traditional turn-based mechanics. Instead of starting with a set amount of magic or stamina, you build up rage over turns. Rage can then be used to fuel the skills or spells that your heroes have equipped, depending on who's in your party. In addition, each character is equipped with an armor stat. Armor has to be whittled away from either friend or foe to damage health, at least in most cases anyway. I wasn't a huge fan of the leveling system. It took countless battles and several side quests just to move one level. I soon learned that you can max out at 5 levels, which explained why it took so long. Further complicating this system is the fact that idle party members gain little to no experience while sidelined. It became much easier to pay the blacksmith to craft gems to level up. Additionally, each character can only take 5 skills, either passive or active, into battle. With a handful of heroes to pick from, it was engaging to experience different combinations and find the best team that worked for you or for specific bosses. The movement system was a little finicky as the cursor didn't respond well to my inputs. It would get lost off the screen and force me to rotate the analog stick until I could find the path again. Each move had to be carefully input as to not get off track. Despite my gripes and early issues as I got past the learning curve, Sin Slayers is extremely addictive and kept me coming back time and time again. Once I learned its quirks and found my dream team, it was hard to put down. From a technical standpoint, I did run into a few problems that had an impact on the game and soured my experience. As mentioned above, the movement system was a tad clunky. I also encountered a bug which prevented me from unlocking all of the trophies, and as a completionist, this really grated on me. The Tower of Trials dungeon was broken to the point that it didn't even show the option to start battles. Sin Slayers Enhanced Edition is a flawed entry into the RPG market. With a subpar story and confusing start, I almost didn't give this game a chance. Were this a personal purchase, I may not have, as my backlog is full of Juggernaut titles. As a review title, I pushed on to the end, and I'm glad that I did. Save for a few broken parts and a slight learning curve, I had a hard time putting Sin Slayers down once I had a better grasp of the mechanics. Sin Slayers Enhanced Edition excels at pushing boundaries and daring to try new things. Any role-playing fan should keep a close eye on it and give it a chance. I might recommend watching for a sale as the game is priced a bit high for the baggage it brings with, and the Tower of Trials glitch, though not game-breaking, was annoying. Overall, I give Sin Slayers Enhanced Edition a 2.5 out of 5. Like I said, it's far from perfect, but it is fun, and sometimes that's all that matters. I hope this review has been helpful. Don't forget to subscribe, and have a sinless day.